What's up guys, this is Astranox. Today I have the showcase of Yoonryoung. This is a brand new 3-star light knight that was introduced in Epic 7. So I have her with 15 skill ups. I'm gonna break down her skills as the battle play out, right? I did showcase her strengths and her weaknesses. I'll talk about those. This hero is built on counter set with immunity. I have her with Elbrus Ritual Sword. So I'm expecting a lot of skill 1s to trigger, and I definitely like her skill 1 because it has defense break with a 75% chance, and that's quite powerful, especially when you have the Elbrus Ritual Sword triggering her skill 1. She lands defense break, hopefully, and then you could have teammates. Some of your ally might have triggered their counter set, and then they attack that defense broken hero and they take a ton of damage. I definitely love that. So, like I said, I'll break down her skills in a minute here. You can see that I have her built with health percentage main stat on my necklace, ring, and boots. You can definitely opt for defense percentage on one of those. So 2 health percentage, 1 defense percentage, so you'll have a better effective maximum health and you're going to be able to take more damage throughout the battle. That's good, especially if you don't have any sustain, no healing, outside of the berry that she provides to the team with her passive. So her skills, her skill 3 has immunity for the whole team and speed buff for 2 turns. So speed buff is good, 30% more speed, allowing you to go more often. Definitely a powerful buff. Now the immunity is great because by the time she goes, let's say she goes last, the rest of your team don't have their immunity set on them anymore. And then she can provide your team with an immunity for 2 or 3 turns if you soul burn the S3 for 10 souls. So having 3 turns instead of 2 turns for the immunity and for the speed buff is quite helpful for only 10 souls when you soul burn. So there's that. Now you don't want the rest of your team to be like too far apart in terms of speed. If your team is kind of like tight in terms of speed, then she's going to be able to put the immunity right up on your team, and it will not have the enemy drop a bunch of debuffs on you, especially the enable to buff debuff. That's definitely an issue. If they're able to land that on your team, then she doesn't have any cleansing, right? Like she cannot take care of that buff block debuff. So you need to have a cleanser if you're going to be facing someone that will be applying it. So there's that. Now her skill 2, it's a passive. She needs to attack 4 times to trigger a team-wide barrier. That barrier looks to be about 20% of your ally's maximum health. And sadly, I wish it was working off of her own maximum health. But then if you think about it, there might be a build for this hero, maybe a damage build, right? More onto that in a second here. So also her passive, on the 4th attack that she does, there's that barrier for your whole team, 20% of their maximum health in barrier. And then you have a 15% boost of combat finesse for your whole team, allowing them to go more often. That's cool. Now the issue with the 4 attacks required is that if you're not lucky with counter attack or Elbrus triggering, then you're not gonna have that passive happen for a while. And then she might be built slow, not gonna be going often, and then she needs to use the skill 3 in a lot of cases before she uses the skill 1. So it might take quite a while before she actually gets that barrier on your team and pushes the combat finesse. So that's another thing I wanted to point out. Now the skill 1 is definitely one of the most powerful things that she has in her kit, right? The skill 3, the skill 1, defense break, 75% chance for 1 turn. I really love it, especially if you get lucky. You don't have to be that lucky, but few counters, maybe counter set triggers here. You got the Elbrus triggering there. That definitely helps, right? 75% chance. It's decent. It's decent. I think I would prefer that over like 50% chance to trigger if it lasted for 2 turns. Yeah, I definitely like it better that way. Now her skill number 1. If she attacks on her own turn, she actually triggers an extra attack. And that extra attack, you can land restrict debuff, 100% chance unless it gets resisted, right? It could be because you don't have enough effectiveness. It could be because the enemy, just the innate resists. 15% of the time, you'll just have your debuff resisted. That's just the way it works in Epic 7. It's sad, but it happens all the time to all of us. So yeah. Now, her skill 1, when it's not her turn, it's a counter attack. It's an Elbrus counter attack. Like, she's not gonna trigger that extra attack that lands restrict. But when it's her turn, she attacks with the defense break, the skill 1, and then it triggers the extra attacks. That's 2 attacks that happens, and you need 4 to trigger her passive, right? So as the battle drag on, it does happen a few times here and there, and I do use her as sort of like my source of sustain, right? I have Fallen Cecilia barriers. I got the initial one, and then throughout the battle, she's applying barrier on the hero with the lowest maximum health. And then I have Yoonryoung that just applies barrier on the whole team. And when you're running a team that is very healthy, very tanky, that barrier, 20% of your allies' maximum health, it's actually decently strong. It keeps me alive that much longer, and I definitely like it. Yeah, the defense breaks. You definitely want enough effectiveness to land those defense breaks because they are definitely game-changing when they do happen. So definitely keep that in mind. So I would say the skill 1, the defense break is definitely the greatest thing about this hero, because if you're fighting a team and they have, a buff block, then you will not be using the skill 3. You might delay it. You might just, what's the point to use it if you got enable to buff debuff on all your heroes? Now, if you know you're going to be fighting a hero or heroes that can apply it, then you should be bringing a cleanser along with her. So that's one thing. Why do you want to use this hero? Why do you want to bring this hero along in your team? Well, there is the immunity. You need to definitely put that to good use. The speed buff, it's okay to have, right? It's an extra thing. Now, the passive will take a while to build up, but it will eventually provide you with a barrier and the CR push. There's the skill 1. The greatest thing, the defense break. If you're putting that to good use, especially if you're lucky with counters, that is definitely great. The restrict, she's gonna be on the slower side depending on how you build her, but the way I have her built, she's quite slow. So the restrict will take a while to happen, right? Now, why use this hero instead of another knight? You could have a knight that could be wearing Aureus, a knight that can provide defense buff for your team. Well, that could be the knight that is replacing Fallen Cecilia in my particular team right here. And that's okay. Yoonryoung, right, she's going to be bringing what she has in her kit. Just make sure that you don't have other heroes that do the same as she does, so you can really put her to good use. Also, you can notice the team that I'm running is the same, right? I have her. I have Fallen Cecilia with Aureus, damage sharing toward her, barrier initially, barrier throughout the battle. Got Archdemon's Shadow. She is my bruiser, my damage dealer. Super powerful, especially after her buff, man. Like, disabling passive is such a big deal. Ignoring effect resistance with her soul burn. She's got team-wide defense break on skill 3. 70% chance, I believe. The burns, it's so deadly when she has 5 focus and she's ready to land that skill 3 into the skill 1. Soul burn, potentially with a S2 following up, attacking the whole team with, decreased hit chance debuff. Eyeless Violin, removing buffs from the enemy as well. Yeah, she is very dangerous, very dangerous. Angel of Light Angelica, you guys know she is very meta. She's very cancerous, right? Right. Guys, you can put in the comment section F the meta, because it's rough out there. It's been rough. It's getting rougher. And to keep up, right? You gotta get those shiny new toys because they're OP. They're OP, they're broken, their skill set are just so powerful, it's ridiculous. Now back to Yoonryoung. Why would you build Yoonryoung? I probably butchered her name there. Well, you don't have MolaGoras. She's a 3-star. You can simply use Rare Catalyst, Stigma Gold. You can build this hero. You got an Elbrus Ritual Sword laying around that you're not using on a core hero that you bring in PvP or PvE or both. Then she can definitely be a pretty decent knight to have in your roster if you feel like I said that you're going to be using all her skills. You're going to be putting them to good use. So at least outside of, you know, the materials that you will be using to 6-star her, plus 15 this hero. Thing is, you don't need to plus 15 her, right? You don't need the damage on skill 1 unless you're going to be trying her out on a damage build, which is something I want to try out on this hero. I'm curious, how does she perform? Because her skill 1, it doesn't deal damage based on her own maximum health. It's based on her attack. I have a feeling that this hero could be working on a damage build. Like, hear me out, right? Her skill 3, she's just buffing the team, right? So it's all good. No matter if she's tanky or she's on a damage build, it's gonna work out. If she has more speed, then she gets those buffs on your team faster, which is not a bad thing. Now, her passive, the barrier is based on your allies' maximum health, 20% of your allies' maximum health. So, you know, big health on her or not, it doesn't matter, right? So there is that. And then the combat has push of 15%, doesn't matter. Now her skill 1, the damage is based on her attack. It could be like, it could have a portion of it being based on her maximum health, but if the majority of the damage is going to be based on the hero's maximum health, they would say that the damage is based on the hero's maximum health, right? So let's say I build her on a damage build, you know, 100% crit chance, a big crit damage, a pretty good attack. Let's say I think her base attack is complete garbage, but it comes down to her multiplier. I don't know if it's good. Let us know in the comment section. And then you got, when it's her turn, the skill 1 into the extra attack, right? You got the defense break, and then you got the restrict. Now, if she lands the defense break, and you got big damage, the damage that I'm seeing from that second extra attack is not impressive, guys. But you have to keep in mind, I don't have attack on her. I don't have her build on a damage build. If you do land defense break, and that extra attack follows, that defense broken hero will be taking quite a bit of damage, even if the damage is not that good. So she can fill her role on a damage build. She's just gonna go down faster, but then you can have her in other type of team compositions if you're going for that route. So I think there's some things you can do there. And then she can just use other knight artifacts instead of having Elbrus on her. But Elbrus could be pretty good if you have some survivability on her. So I do like it. I do like it that there's other ways to build this hero, not only like super tanky, you know, in terms of like high health, pretty high defense, and good effectiveness, because you want to land those debuffs. The defense break, the restrict, but most importantly, the defense break is such a big deal. It's like I said, there could be a way to make her work in not only like just a pure damage build, but it could be like sort of like a hybrid build, like a bruiser build, right? So yeah, that could be quite interesting. She will still provide what she provides with the skill 2, the skill 3. The S2 will happen passively, which I like. And the skill 3, you don't have to open with the skill 3. If somehow the target doesn't have immunity, maybe you want to open with the skill number 1. Now, if she has more speed, she's going to cycle faster. You're going to get the skill 2 to happen faster. It is definitely worth like looking into. And I'll check it out. I'll test her out that way. We'll see how she performs. Let us know what you guys think about all that in the comment section. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.